I think the most important considerations in tax policy making are simplicity, fairness and equity. Now, it very much depends on your view as to which of those you think is the most important, but really I think a combination of all of those are essential in the creation of tax policy. And simplicity is a sort of a bit like motherhood and apple pie. Everybody wants a simpler tax system. However, in reality, I'm not too concerned when people complain about we've got thousands of pages of tax code. I don't really care how many pages of tax code we've got. What I care about is simplicity for the end user. And providing the end user thinks it's a simple system and they understand what is due and when it's due and how to go about paying it. And I think really that's all that matters. The complicated bit, we can leave that to the tax professionals. In terms of fairness, I think obviously all taxation has got to have a level of fairness, otherwise you get problems about willingness to pay, that type of thing, and that encourages evasion or avoidance, which of course is something that nobody is keen to see. I think the Treasury Select Committee in particular does an exceptionally good job of scrutinising tax policy. It'll be very interesting to see what happens now that Andrew Tyree, the chairman, has announced he's no longer going to be a member of Parliament. So we'll have a new Conservative chair of that committee, and obviously he or she is going to have a very tough act to follow. I think many of the principles that they've established in terms of, for example, taking evidence from most of the main accountancy bodies in advance of the Chancellor going before them after a major fiscal event will obviously continue as has been the case over the last couple of years, and that's to be welcomed. I think they are very good at consulting widely, not just in the tax arena, but also other affected parties, so that they make sure that when they have the Chancellor or the relevant Treasury Minister before them, they really do get to the nuts and bolts of the issue. And I think effective scrutiny is obviously in everyone's best interests. My only slight concern, of course, is that no matter how good they are at scrutiny, ultimately you still have to have a government that's willing to listen in order to make some of those suggested changes. And the evidence recently has been that perhaps that's not been as it should be. Although conversely, you could argue it is quite good, because if you look at something like the National Insurance Contributions U-turn, then depending on what side of the political fence you are, that's could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But I think actually it's a sign of strength when a government listens to significant opposition to a tax proposal where it's made on sound grounds. And in that case, I think it certainly was.